It has been nearly 11 months, but I know everyone is excited to say this. It is finally a Rockford IceHogs game day. Hello, everybody. Joseph Zakshesky with you, and so glad to see you once again as the IceHogs get set for preseason action this afternoon against the Chicago Wolves at Tri-Fan Arena in Hoffman Estates. So let's dive into today's IceHogs game preview. Today is the one and only preseason game between the IceHogs and Wolves, and only preseason game overall for both clubs. In fact, it's been a while since the IceHogs have played in preseason action. You got to go back to the 2017-18 campaign. But for both clubs, again, they haven't played in nearly 11 months. It's a chance for all these players, the coaches, and broadcasters to shake off a little bit of rust. Well, for the Rockford IceHogs, they are about to embark on their 22nd season of professional hockey in the state line, 14th in the American Hockey League, and they will dive right into a 30-game regular season schedule, seeing the Chicago Wolves of course, Iowa Wild, Grand Rapids Griffins, and the Cleveland Monsters battling in a Central Division action. Derek King back behind the bench for year number 2 alongside with assistant coach Anders Sorensen. Last season, which feels like an eternity ago, the IceHogs went 29-32-2 under his guidance. 5th in the Central Division. They were tied for 4th, the 4th and final playoff spot in the Central Division, in fact, before the season placed on pause and then eventually canceled. But this season, you wipe the slate clean. All new players, pretty much 30 players total on the camp roster, essentially fielding a football team. 16 of those 30 players are rookies, and 9 players had experience with the IceHogs from a season ago. So a lot of adjusting both on and off the ice for players and coaches. But the focus this year is going to be on development. 10 players drafted by the Chicago Blackhawks since 2017, and that includes 3 players from just this past summer alone. So that is a lot of young talent for the IceHogs that'll be taking the ice this year. But there are some veterans sprinkled in to help out. Garrett Mitchell returns for his second season with the IceHogs. Rockford, if you remember, signed defenseman Cody Franson earlier in the offseason. He returns from his second stint with the IceHogs after helping them out back in that 2018 Calder Cup playoff run. You also get defenseman Anton Lindholm and goaltender Scott Darling jumping in as well. But for head coach Derek King, he is excited and anxious to get back to work.
I think you guys should be asking my wife what the 10 months have been like. And no, it's been, I've talked to a couple guys before, but I've got to do a lot of things with my family that I usually don't get to do. At the time too, there was some minor hockey stuff going on when we could play some tournaments. So, one of my boys said, "Dad, this is the first tournament you've ever been to with me." And I was just kind of like drawn back, and I was like, you know what, you're right. So I got to do a lot of good things like that. But like any hockey player or coach or what have you, I was ready to get back to work. So, there were some days where it's just like, shaking my head, wondering if this is going to happen, if we're going to get back. But, you kind of forget about it when you're spending that quality time with your family.
Now on the Chicago Wolves side, they are experiencing some major changes, especially since the IceHogs last saw them, which ironically enough was their last game of last season back on March 8th at Allstate Arena. Since then, the Wolves have a new NHL affiliate in the Carolina Hurricanes. They also have a new head coach in Ryan Warsofsky, who comes over from their previous AHL club in the Charlotte Checkers. Now that the season is officially underway, the Milwaukee Admirals opted out of the campaign, so the Wolves would also take on their prospects and their NHL club in the Nashville Predators. So a dual affiliation for the Wolves heading into the year. And last season, they were the team that was tied with Rockford for that 4th and final playoff spot, as they had a record of 27-26, 5-3. And a lot of new faces for this Chicago Wolves bunch, more so than the IceHogs. I mentioned that there were still some players that had experience from last year's club. Well, that's not the same for Chicago. Pretty much a completely new roster, and we'll be introducing them to you throughout the broadcast today. And also today, it is a preseason matchup at Tri-Fan Arena, but it's not going to be a preseason home for Chicago. Certainly, IceHogs and Wolves have collided in preseason matchups in this building years before. Well, this is going to be Chicago's home for the upcoming season throughout the 2021 campaign. Now, in the regular season, these clubs will meet 8 times throughout the 2020-21 campaign. It is the 14th year of this in-state rivalry. So, as the season rolls on along, you can imagine that rivalry to show itself a time or two. All time, the IceHogs have done well against the Wolves, but it has been competitive. 74-57, 10-4 record. And this is going to be the 145th all-time meeting when they get together for the first time in the regular season. Not today, but in the regular season. So with that being said, the IceHogs will see their 150th all-time meeting against the Wolves. Last year, they did really well against Chicago, going 6-1-0 head-to-head, and that included a 5-0 start, their longest winning streak against the Wolves, as well as their best start ever in all-time history. It's an exciting day for the Rockford IceHogs as they are back on the ice for the first time since March 8th, when they would ironically skate up against the Chicago Wolves. Well, today they'll see their longtime rivals again in a preseason action. Puck drop is at 2 p.m., and you can listen live at icehogs.com. Thanks for tuning in to today's Hogs Game Preview.